The brackets are set for college basketball's March Madness tournament over the next 4 weeks. 68 teams will play 67 games to compete for a national championship. Virginia is the #1 overall seed. That is the 6th time they've held the top spot. Villanova, Kansas, and Xavier are the other top seeds. Bill Reiter, the host of Writer's Block on CBS Sports HQ, is here to break down the bracket. Bill, great to see you. Let's go region by region, and you give us your favorite, a sleeper that can win the region, and then a Cinderella team that can pull off an upset or two, okay?
You got it. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Let's start with the South.
All right, so you just mentioned Virginia. I love Virginia, best defense in the country. That's what Tony Bennett's teams do, but they're better offensively. They have been in years past, so I'm taking them the whole way from the South. But I'm going to give you a sleeper. It doesn't sound like a sleeper, Kentucky, but it wasn't that long ago, Tanya. People thought Kentucky might not make the tournament. Their wheels were coming off. They're playing great right when they need to. This is exactly what Cal does with his teams. And one Cinderella. They could certainly beat Miami, maybe get hot, win a few games. Loyola, Chicago, if you're looking to get a little aggressive in your office pool.
Well, I got to tell you, my brother's a professor at UVA. They're all crazy excited about this. So I've got to say I'm rooting for UVA there. All right, what do you see in the West?
Yeah, the West is really interesting. I like Michigan, the way that they're playing, the way that they won the Big Ten tournament speaks to their ability to really be honed and focused come tournament time. My sleeper to win the region, it's total bias. I went to school there. I plug them every time I'm on CBSN. But I'm doing it anyway. They lost to Georgia in the SEC tournament. Missouri, because they have in Michael Porter Jr., he's only played one game this year, really, against Georgia. Looked really rusty, but he's the best talent. He's the most talented player in this bracket, Tanya. So if he can play right, Missouri can get hot. They could certainly be a scary team. And a little bit of a Cinderella, South Dakota State has the best score in the country. And Mike Dom, we've seen in the past, when a mid-major brings a great score, they can do some damage.
I'm glad to hear everyone has sports loyalties, even sports reporters. All right, Phil, let's move to the East region. How do you see it playing out there?
Yeah, this is a really interesting region, too. The committee did a great job, I think, with some balance and some storylines. I like Nova. I like Villanova. They've been there. They've done that. They're playing great basketball. I think a team to keep an eye on. I don't know if they're actually considered a sleeper or not, but Wichita State, we've seen this team before play such good basketball. A great head coach in Greg Marshall. I think they're a team that if they got hot, they could be really good and really dangerous, and yet my Cinderella is the team they face in the first round. So either way, I'll get one of these right. Marshall's really interesting. First tournament, Tanya, in 31 years. D'Antoni, the other D'Antoni, Mike D'Antoni's brother, Dan is the head coach. Great pace of play. Wichita State doesn't guard the three particularly well. It would be a huge win, but if Marshall can get it going, I think they could do something really special.
Could be exciting. All right. Finally, the Midwest, which some are calling the region of death, and that's because it's stacked with Kansas, Duke, and Michigan State. Who do you like, Bill?
It is the region of death. And we had Bill Self on the show over on CBS Sports HQ last week, so I hate to go against him because he's a great dude and a great coach, but I'm going to. I like Duke. They're the most talented team on paper by far in the country. I think that if you have to pick somebody to win the region, that's the safe bet. Oklahoma's really interesting. Trae Young probably going to be National Player of the Year. He and they have been a disaster for the last month or so, but earlier in the season, he was electric, and Oklahoma was too. If Trae Young can find his groove against Rhode Island, they can beat anybody in the country if they play the way they did at the start of the season. And I'm going to go for my Cinderella, NC State. They're bigger than Kansas in that second-round matchup with the Jayhawks. That is a team that they play great three-point defense. Kansas with 4 guards shoots the lights out from the three-point range. I think NC State could be a really interesting Sweet 16 Cinderella. Sorry, Kansas fans.
Wow, no doubt that we are in for some very exciting basketball, but we cannot forget that the FBI's corruption investigation still looms. You and I spoke about that. Will it impact the tournament?
I think it already has. Louisville was on the bubble. They're out. USC should not have been on the bubble. They're out. Obviously, both those teams mentioned in part of that investigation. I was texting with Andy Enfield, the head coach at USC, yesterday, and he used words like shock to describe the fact they're not in. I think, Tanya, it's not a coincidence. These are human beings on the selection committee that the headlines of a Louisville and a USC run aren't going to be a problem for the NCAA because they're not in the tournament. And then you just never know. Sources that are close to the investigation, federal sources, whether or not news comes out, if any of the teams in this bracket are mentioned over the course of the next few weeks, it will be a blockbuster story, the likes of which the NCAA certainly does not want to see.
For sure. All right, let's turn now to golf, where Tiger Woods came in second place at the Valspar Championship over the weekend. So is Tiger back?
He's back, yeah.
Yay.
He drained that long putt on 17. We could feel all the old ghosts in a good way coming back to life. I do think he's back, at least for now. This is the first time we've seen in years, Johnny, where Tiger Woods is inspiring, he's mesmerizing, he's borderline transcendent. It's not easy to win golf tournaments, and the odds say as much. He's a 10-1. He's 10-1 now to win the Masters. It was 30-1 a month ago. It's really, really exciting. I'm going to be a fan again. Go Tiger Woods.
It is exciting. You know, my husband's a big golf fan. He was watching every move. So, yes, it does bring a lot of excitement back to the sport. Bill Reiter, thank you.
You're welcome.